Sequel 1. The Arrest. Darius Coleman had worked his whole life for this moment. After years of grinding, long nights at his law firm, and pushing through barriers no one thought he could, he finally owned his dream home. A beautiful house in a quiet suburban neighborhood, complete with a crystal blue pool in the backyard. For once, he allowed himself to relax, stretched out on a lounge chair, enjoying the sunlight with a cold glass of lemonade. But peace didn't last. Two police cruisers screeched to a halt in front of his gate. Moments later, officers Bradshaw and Miller barged into his yard, hands already resting on their holsters. "You live here?" Bradshaw sneered, scanning Darius as if he were an intruder instead of a homeowner. "ID now." Darius sat up, stunned. "Excuse me? You just walked onto private property. Who gave you permission to—" "Don't get smart," Miller barked. "We got a call about a suspicious blackmail trespassing. That sound like you?" The words hit him like a slap. Darius tried to stay calm. "This is my home. I'm not trespassing. I can show you proof of ownership." Before he could finish, they yanked him out of his chair, pressed him against the ground, and slapped handcuffs on his wrists. His glass of lemonade shattered, yellow liquid bleeding into the concrete like spilled sunshine. Neighbors peeked from their blinds, some whispering, others recording on their phones. Darius's humiliation cut deeper than the rough metal digging into his skin. He wasn't just being arrested, he was being degraded. As they shoved him toward the cruiser, Bradshaw muttered, "Should have known better than to sneak around here." Not your kind of neighborhood. Darius stayed silent, but his mind raced. If they thought he was powerless, they were about to learn how wrong they were. Sequel 2. The Revelation. At the station, the officers mocked him like he was nothing more than a criminal. They tossed him into an interrogation room without offering food, water, or even a phone call. But Darius wasn't panicking. He was waiting. When Lieutenant Rivera finally entered with the arrest file, Darius gave a calm smile that unsettled everyone in the room. "You've made a very serious mistake," he said evenly. Rivera raised an eyebrow. "And what mistake is that?" Darius leaned forward, speaking with quiet authority. "You've unlawfully arrested a man in his own home, without cause, without evidence, and in direct violation of his civil rights. That man happens to be me, and I happen to be a senior civil rights attorney, one who's currently working on a federal case reviewing police misconduct." The room went still. Miller's jaw dropped. Bradshaw's face turned red. They hadn't just arrested any man. They had arrested someone who knew the law better than they did. Rivera quickly excused himself to verify. Minutes later, he returned, his expression grim. "He's telling the truth," Rivera said. "Mr. Coleman isn't only a homeowner in good standing. He's an attorney with ties to the Department of Justice." Bradshaw stammered, We were just following up on a call." Darius cut him off, voice sharp. "No, you were profiling. You assumed my skin color made me suspicious. And you manhandled me in my own backyard without asking a single reasonable question. That isn't law enforcement. That's racism with a badge." The silence that followed was heavy, suffocating. The weight of their actions was undeniable, and for the first time, the officers looked afraid. Sequel 3. Turning the Tables. By the time Darius was released, the incident had already gone viral. Several neighbors had uploaded videos of the arrest, showing him in swim trunks and sandals, unarmed and relaxed, before being tackled and handcuffed like a dangerous fugitive. Outrage spread across social media within hours. The next day, Darius stood at a podium in front of a crowd of reporters and community members. His calm, commanding voice echoed through the microphones. "What happened to me isn't just about me," he declared. "It's about every black man who's been stopped for driving in the wrong neighborhood, every black teenager frisked on the way home from school, every innocent life ruined because of prejudice disguised as policing." Behind him, posters of the arrest circulated on TV screens, a damning reminder of what the officers had done. Within weeks, both Bradshaw and Miller were suspended pending investigation. The department scrambled to offer apologies, but the damage was done. Lawsuits were filed, reforms demanded, and training programs rewritten under Darius's legal guidance. But Darius wasn't out for revenge. He was out for change. Months later, he hosted a community pool party at the same backyard where the arrest had happened. This time, kids splashed in the water, neighbors laughed together, and music filled the air. Standing near the pool, Darius smiled as he watched unity bloom where division once stood. Someone asked him quietly, "Why throw a party here after everything?" Darius answered with conviction, "Because they tried to turn this pool into a place of humiliation. I'm turning it into a place of celebration. That's how we win. Not by letting hate define us, but by rewriting the story ourselves." And just like that, the tables had been turned.